That was a great presentation you gave the other day.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm guessing everybody, we're going to have a lot of people jumping on in the next few minutes. We're up to 40 people right now. We had 82 registered, and we'll just see, how many people jump on between now and the next 5 minutes or so. But thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. This is really awesome to have you all here. I'm very excited. This program that I'm doing today is, it's things that I've personally had to deal with in my career, and at times still have to deal with on a regular basis. And we all do. When it comes to prospecting, marketing, the money for our business, networking, and then when we have to decide at times whether to hire or to outsource as our businesses start to grow, that could be very difficult to deal with, all of these. But they don't have to be difficult if we put systems in place, if we address these issues up front. I'm going to use him as an example right now, my friend Philip, who owns ReadyPest. When we were talking a year and a half ago about him hiring somebody, and sure, it would have been really good for Philip to hire somebody right then and there, but instead what he did was he put a plan in place. He put a plan in place so that when it was time to hire somebody, it was the right time. It wasn't just so it can make his life easier. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later, about all of that. So I respect him for how he handled that. And I took it as a learning lesson for myself and for my clients, that I can share that with my clients. But so I'm so excited to have you all here today. And we have great sponsors who have helped to make this possible. Because, these things, they take so much time and effort, and I need the help of sponsors to make it so that I can do these things. I know that anybody who hasn't sponsored the events probably does not realize how much we're putting into it in the back end, but we do put a ton of work into it. So we've got Gary Zeller from eXp Realty. We've got David Riddell from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts. We have Robin Thomas of Living Well Essentials. Yeah, we do that. Melinda Fergus of Action Travel. Charles Calloway from Primerica, and Ed Meyer of Island Media Services are all going to be our sponsors today, and they will be our main breakout leaders. We'll have two other breakout leaders that are going to help us today, Janet Ickes and Julie Navarro, my wife, lovely wife, and but we're really looking forward to this. So what we're going to do first, what I'd like to do is, if we could we'll have our first two sponsors just share a little bit about their business. And then from there, we'll start the first presentation, what it's going to be, just to give you the breakdown. I'm going to be doing mini presentations throughout. Okay, we're going to talk about first we're going to talk about prospecting and marketing. And we're going to go into a breakout session to talk with a question that you'll be working on during that. Then we'll come back. We'll do another mini session. And we'll go into another breakout session. So that one is going to be on the money and the hiring. And then from there, we'll go into the third third session of talking into the next breakout session. So it's going to be in 3 parts. And that's the way I have everything done, is in part 1, part 2, and part 3. So I hope that you can all stick around, because each part is just as important as the other. So our first sponsor is somebody who I've really enjoyed. I appreciate his support so much, and watched him, growing his business, is Gary Zeller. So Gary, why don't you share a little bit about your business and, tell us how we can help you.
Well, thank you, Joe, and it's a pleasure to be here with everybody this morning. As Joe mentioned, my name is Gary Zeller, and I'm with eXp Realty, and I've been with them about 3 years now. And I made this switch 3 years ago from a very good company that I worked for, and I enjoyed it. But this is a cloud-based. And I found that, I've got my home office. I spend 90% of my time here anyway. Now with the COVID-19 hitting, it didn't impact us at all really, because we don't have brick and mortars and people getting together, that type of thing, other than meeting with our clients. So a couple things I want to get out this morning or mention to you during this 2 minutes Joe's given me is, number one, to provide minimal COVID relief. I'm lowering my commission to 4.8% across the board for anyone, whether they're first responders or not. And this is through April 30th, anybody that has a listing agreement signed in. And the second thing is, more so than anything, I'm looking to grow my business, and that means bringing on other realtors. And we're looking for people that are really open-minded, want to build a real estate business that funds their perfect life. And a lot of times we get in our tracks or our habits, we have certain loyalties to the company we work for, and some people are not open-minded. I've even seen on Facebook page some of them say that they're unrecruitable, below their picture. And so what I am looking for is somebody that's open-minded. And one of the value addeds to it is we are offering free, it's about a $500 value, a coaching program and a training program to get people to really off and get their business established. And it's really through three means. One is we have the first 3 weeks is just building your foundation, because without that you can't do much. Next 3 weeks covers your skill set. Third week is getting your systems in place, and then the achievements that you want to see. And I didn't start my timer, Joe, so you can tell me when I'm getting close. The other thing EXP is going
we're just over time.
Oh, I'm over time?
Yeah, but you could close up.
Okay, just want to offer one thing. You've probably all seen things out, businesses put out called My AT&T, My UNC, My this, My that. Well, EXP is going to have a My EXP out, which will give you access to anything and everything about your business that you want. At your fingertips or on your phone. And so thanks again, Joe, for having me here this morning. Gary Zeller, eXp Realty.
Thanks, Gary. And next is somebody who I've actually become pretty good friends with. I've gotten the chance to go to his store here in Durham, and I've had the opportunity to visit his store in Asheville. So if you need a reason to go to Asheville, go visit Dave Riddell. So David, tell us a little bit more about Big Frog.
So Asheville, other than these 75 breweries, you can come see me when I'm here. So David with Big Frog Custom T-shirts in South Durham, right around the corner from South Point. Well, you walk the streets and you see somebody wearing a shirt from a group or from a movie or a baseball or sports team. You know that. That's a logo. That's a branded logo. Your churches, schools, nonprofits, you've all been involved in fundraisers, either on the helping side or the donating side. And everybody does reunions, weddings, fun vacations. I say all of those three because that's what we do. For the past 10 years, and yes, we hit 10 years during COVID, and very proud to make it to the other side of that, as we all are. But for the past 10 years, we've been your local apparel branding experts. Our job is to keep your logo, whether or your kid's face and your dog's face or whatever you want to wear, visible everywhere you go. From a branding business perspective, I mean, why not have your logo on in all types of apparel when you're at the bank, the grocery store, the gym, on your kids? So we are a retail-based space where you can come in and sing and dance and touch and feel and get the right solutions for your brand style and your budget. We print, everybody prints, but you need to know where your money's going, what the best impact is from the apparel you're wearing. So we have no minimum order, free design, thousands of apparel options. So in small quantities or large, simple print or detailed, whatever you need, branded apparel for whatever reason, that is what we do. We can help your group fundraise for free. We can keep you exposed or just have some fun. So we are Big Frog Custom T-shirts in South Durham. And if you know anybody to the west side of the state or you want to come on down, we are in Asheville as well. Thank you much.
And just to add 10 seconds to that, anybody that is a part of a nonprofit or is passionate about a nonprofit, talk to David about how they can help that nonprofit get exposure, at a very, very low cost, meaning almost zero. So where they'll make money based from David's efforts. So, okay. Thank you guys so much. So let's see. I want to follow our timeline because, like I said, we are tight today. It's going to be great. So we're going to talk about, everybody, if you're ready, I hope that you all have that beautiful booklet that Julie created for us all. I love that booklet. Wasn't that great, everybody? If I could get thumbs up on that. Yeah. So let me just put my chat because I want to, a couple of times I want to hear from you all in here. And yes, please put your information in the chat. I'll make sure that I download it later and send it out to you all if you don't get a chance to download it. But for anybody who doesn't know how to do that, later on at the end, click the button on the right that says file, or no, the three little buttons on the end, the dots, and you can download the chat. But wait till towards the end to do that, unless you get knocked off, then you have to start all over. So the question that I want to start with is, what is marketing? Okay, who does anybody, throw it in the chat if you have an idea of what like just simple words. What do you think marketing is?
Keeping your brand visible and top of mind.
True, right? What else do we have? Anybody else have one thing, like something quick? Announcing your product to the public. I love it, Charlie. That's great.
Relationship.
Kristen McIntosh. Yes, that's branding. That's good branding.
Getting your product across the counter.
What was that?
Getting your product across the counter.
Yeah, getting your product across the counter. Well, so according to the American Marketing Association, the current definition of marketing is the activity, set of institutions, and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. Now that is a mouthful. There are many different types of marketing. Some different types of marketing are influencer marketing. And that's where somebody of influence, like a celebrity or somebody famous for some kind of a heroic act or any number of things that makes a person influential, endorses a product or service. A good example would be Dr. Oz, I believe, does a lot of promotions for USANA, which is what Robin Thomas represents. But it doesn't have to be somebody famous either. See, if you've ever taken a class and you're told by the instructor or the professor to purchase a book specifically as part of the curriculum, that's also influencer marketing. Your teacher has influenced you into making the purchase. Then there's relationship marketing, which is my personal favorite form of marketing. And that's where we're building business relationships and establishing the know, like, and trust factor for growing the business. And we're going to talk more about that throughout the next couple of hours. And there are several folks here today that I know who are experts in relationship marketing. Now, a different type of marketing is guerrilla marketing. And there was a great book written years ago by J. Conrad Levinson titled simply Guerrilla Marketing. And that's where you use a large number of easy or inexpensive marketing tactics to get in front of your target clients. Now, the issue I have with guerrilla marketing is that it's difficult to track and measure results because you've usually got multiple sales and marketing tactics all happening at one time. And if everybody could just mute themselves, that would be awesome. So if you're finding your efforts to be, regarding the guerrilla marketing, if you're finding your efforts to be successful, it becomes difficult to point at any one thing to say, this is what I'll focus more on in the future. However, if you're finding your efforts are failing, it's just as difficult to point to any one thing to eliminate. Now, here's an example of what a guerrilla marketing campaign could look like. And this is something that I've actually done in the past. So let's say you have a list of about 200 prospects that fit your target demographic. Now, from this list, you'd be extensively emailing, doing a postcard mailing where you do the mailing personally, social media posting, and you're doing keyword marketing on your website, as well as cold calling. Now, when all this is being done simultaneously, it becomes very difficult to track the results. It's not impossible. However, when you're a small operation, tracking just becomes one more thing to do. And do we need another thing to do? Can everybody agree with me on that? If you do have the time, though, guerrilla marketing can be very effective. Now, what's most important about marketing is that before you commit to any type of marketing tactic, it's imperative that you know who you're marketing to. If you're just starting out, it's okay to be a little broad about who your target client is. However, as you continue to grow your business, it will become more and more important that you niche down the parameters when identifying a target client. So that brings us to prospecting. Now, to be successful, there are two rules of prospecting every small business owner and sales professional has to understand. Rule number one, prospecting is a continuous activity that must be done with a plan and a purpose. And part of that plan is for you to know your numbers. Rule number two, know all the different types of contacts possible and how to maximize your use of them. There are many ways to build your contact list, and here are a handful. First, this is the one I know you all love the most, cold calling, which is simply picking up the phone and calling someone you don't know. Cold calling's one and only purpose is to determine interest from the prospect. And if you do make those calls, don't sound like a used car salesman. Be prepared before you call. Know what you're going to say before you ever pick up the telephone. Don't wait until you get on the phone or when the phone starts ringing before you try to decide what you're going to say to somebody. So if I was making a cold call, it might go something like this. Hi, Mr. Calloway, do you have 30 seconds? Great. I'm Joe Navarra. I'm a professional speaker on mindset and sales. I help a lot of people in the financial sector, and I'm calling to see if Primerica ever brings in speakers for trainings or workshops. It's short and sweet, to the point. If he says no, then we move on. If he says yes, then I ask for permission to either talk to him some more, ask for permission, or I ask if we can schedule another time to speak when it's more convenient for him. Drop-ins are slightly warmer, and it requires more time. Okay, it involves meeting face-to-face with somebody you've never met before. It is warmer, and it prevents people from slamming the phone down on you. However, if you're a thin-skinned person, I don't recommend doing it because you're going to get some nasty looks. If you read my first book, Intentional Networking, there's a chapter in there called Finding Karen that is all about how the girl was so mean to me, and my New York attitude came out, and I was like, there's no way that girl is going to beat me. So I kept going back until I met the person I was trying to meet, and they turned into a long-term account. So now let's talk about networking. That's where you're prospecting in a group of people who may or may not have some need for your service. However, it allows for the opportunity for you to develop relationships. And that's where referrals come in. Prospects are given to you by people who know, like, and trust you. Referral partnerships or strategic alliances are also grown and developed as a result of networking. And that's a referral partnership are two or more non-competing professionals who are going after the same target client. And what they do is they pass business back and forth to each other, which helps to do two things. Number one, it helps to grow your business. And number two, it helps to eliminate the need for cold calling. But not eliminate it, it helps to reduce the need for cold calling. It doesn't eliminate it. but it's also the warmest place to get clients and the warmest place to get business. It's also imperative that you become great at whatever it is you do and develop skills at discerning if the people you come in contact with are a good fit. I want you to, and if you guys want to write this down, this would be great. You want to always establish and maintain the 6 C's of credibility. First is character. Second is commitment. The third is competence. The fourth is composure. The fifth is communication. And the sixth is connectivity. If you can incorporate all of those into your life and your business, then you're living the 6 C's of credibility. Now, this is an opportunity for us to go to our first breakout session. Let me ask Ed. Ed, how are we on doing that? Uh-oh, did we lose Ed? Oh.
Yeah, no, I was giving you a thumbs up and you were not looking at the screen, so.
I can't see you. I'm going to take me out of, I'll put me in gallery view and then I'll be able to see you. Okay, so our first, what we're going to do is we're going to go to breakouts, and I'm going to lead one of the breakouts. We have so many people here. We're going to have 9 different breakout leaders, and the question that we're going in with is this. And Julie, if you wouldn't mind typing it in, I'd appreciate it.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Great, thanks, Ed. So our first question for the breakout session is this. If you only had access to one single technique for sales and marketing, which one would you use and how could you maximize it? Everybody got that? Great. All right, Ed, when you're ready, you take us away.
How long, Joe?
Oh, 20 minutes, Ed.
Okay.
Yeah, each session should be 20 minutes, each breakout.
All righty.
And just give each person about 2 minutes each if they, to share.
All right, here we go, everybody. Hang on.
See you all soon.
Some of you will be staying in the lobby here.
Hey, Tom. You can unmute. Hey, you guys can unmute. Nope. Yeah, just unmute.
Hey.
Oh, okay, good. We're going to have a smaller group here. Unless other people jump in, I guess we'll find out. So, well, great to see you all. So let's start with Tom, because Tom is he's been doing marketing for a very long time. And so what I'll do here is once we have the full room, I'll decide how much time it's going to be. Tom, why don't you start, okay? And just what if you, going back to the question, if you had access to one single technique for sales and marketing, which one would you use, and how could you maximize it? And nice to see you, Yolanda, by the way. I didn't get.
Oh, thank you.
Well, good morning, everybody. I guess we all know that there are a variety of different marketing techniques that we can use to promote our business. My background is marketing, and I would say that if I think about marketing just in general, to me, probably brand marketing is the best thing. I mean, of course, I'm in the promo business,
Right.
But Joe mentioned it earlier when he gave an example, about somebody going out there and getting their name out there. So I'm big into branding, if you will, not just because it's my business, but when we're in front of people, I think will feel much more comfortable if they see that you kind of represent something that's very reliable, dependable, trustworthy. And those are all things that promote brand. I mean, think about it. If you were to rattle off some companies right now and brands, obviously you're going to be thinking of things, like McDonald's and, those that we see all the time. And it's not just because we see them all the time, but you know what you're going to get. You trust that brand. You don't feel uncomfortable when you go there to purchase one of their products. And it's going to be the same thing with us. We're not McDonald's, but at the same time, if people understand what your brand is, what you represent, I think that that's going to be a great, if not first step, but a continued step into trust. So every time I go out there, I want people to know what my brand is and what I represent. So to me, that's kind of key for just about any kind of business, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, or whatever it is that you offer.
So Tom, if you could only, let's say you could only, hypothetically only do one form of marketing, what would your go-to be?
Oh, again, I'm in the promo business.
Yeah.
It would be, it would be a way to promote.
And so, and from a promotional products perspective, what would you say is what would you say is the best promotional product that could get people the most true visibility? Because I get thrown in a draw.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to have to be general on this, and I'll give an example. I think it should be something that represents the product and service that you are. I mean, so my example is this. Yeah, my example is this. I went to a business expo, and a guy was handing out fly swatters, and it had his name on it. And so, of course, I reached over, but then I looked up at his sign, and it was a security alarm system company.
Oh my God!
And so
I can be a pest control person.
Yeah, so I kind of looked at him, and being the kind of guy I am, I went up to him and I said, "What in the world does a fly swatter have to do with security, home security?"
Right.
And his answer, which is classic because I hear it all the time, that's what they gave me to hand out.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so I told him, I said, I'm in the promo business. I said, if you were a pest control company, perfect. But you're home security.
Yeah.
So anyway, so in answer to your question, Joe, I think that from a promo standpoint, think long and hard what it is that you do and what can you use as a promotion so that days from now, weeks from now, months from now, if somebody were to pick up that promotional item that you gave them, they would remember who you are. Right. That is important. It's not always about handing out a pen.
Yep. So thanks, Tom. That's wonderful. And that was a great explanation. Now, another person who's in marketing is Yolanda. So, and Yolanda actually does a different side of the industry, is promoting a different side of the industry than you are, Tom. So Yolanda, why don't you share, that based on that question,
sure.
If there was only one technique that you could do, which one would it be and how would you maximize it?
Okay, so I'm Yolanda Hawkins. I work for a local copier company, CEI. And when you said those 6 C words, I'm scribbling them on paper and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to answer this question? Because I don't really do a whole lot of networking, and I don't, but what works for me, honestly, and I just, okay, just stop thinking about what they want you to say and just say what you really do, Yolanda. And that's what was going through my mind in this process real quick. And I said, how am I successful? And I'll tell you what it is. It's really simple. I go to current customers and I ask them for a review on my website and mention me. And it's amazing. And people do that. And people tend to like me. I don't get thrown out of offices like that. I don't know. It's just luck of the draw, I suppose. But I think that goes a long way. I think somebody else saying something about you helps a ton, as opposed to you just throwing up all over someone. So that's my number one go-to thing. People don't really know what CEI stands for, but you would know what Xerox stands for. So that's like my biggest dilemma is like, how do I get the message of who is CEI and what are we? So I tend to attach in an email or a flyer that if it's a face-to-face on just something as short and simple, because people don't want to read all about you. So, but I do have a couple of those things that I do use, and those are marketing pieces.
Okay, so you're using what you sell to market yourself.
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
other people, because there's nothing better than a current customer saying something good about you,
That's
or a
right.
technician, or the company. It doesn't have to be about me, just something about CEI in general, and I kind of just leave it that way. Doesn't
And
have to.
so you do have another minute. Could you, do you have, and if you don't, it's okay, because I know I'm doing this on the spot. Do you have a success story of where that like may have worked out in your favor?
Sure. People know each other. And just yesterday, I delivered tone. It was a brand new customer, and they needed something fast because of what was going on in this, the COVID and stuff. And I just pushed it along. And I went there yesterday, dropped off some toner, met her, and she was just like, I just left another company that used CEI. And when I got here, because I've used this company, that company, and that company in my career, and I would never go back to them. And she said, when I came here a couple of weeks ago, I just said, oh, I wonder what kind of copy we have. And then I see the CEI sticker, and I was just like so happy. And that's when I said, do you mind writing your, and she wrote the review yesterday, and my folks are like ecstatic. They're like, this is great.
Cool.
So it's that, that's the most recent thing, happened yesterday. There were actually 3 people that wrote reviews yesterday on CEI, but go to the CEI website, and I don't know. I just think it really does a lot. I think people do go on Google and check you out before they do business with you. So,
I agree. Well, especially nowadays. So thank you, Yolanda.
well, thank you.
Hey, Troy. So,
Hey, Joe.
yeah, so, I know that, we've talked, and COVID has been a little crazy for you as a math tutor. But, what do you find if there was one form of marketing that you feel would be best for your business? What would that be? And, how could you maximize it? Or if you want some suggestions, we have some great marketers here today that could probably be helpful for you.
Yeah, I've thought about this a while, and I really think that referral marketing is the best for me. Because if I get, a satisfied parent or student telling another parent or student, that goes a long way. So, that's the credibility thing right there.
Yeah.
And I do ask for testimonials from parents and students, which I share on my website. But yeah, it's I'm also asking them, I don't know if this is, it's a very simple thing, but, asking them to, maybe post share a post on your Facebook page or your Instagram or your Nextdoor. And I give them a flyer to post and just say, hey, would you mind doing this really quick thing for me? Would mean a lot, takes a few seconds. I don't think I've gotten many to actually do that. I don't know if I'm asking politely and cordially and all this, but
You're a very nice man, so I'm sure you're asking politely.
So,
well, one thing that I have found that can be helpful is I don't straight out write the referral for somebody, but I'll give them some talking points that they, because sometimes people don't know exactly what to say. So I will just write in the referral. So I could write, if let's say you and I did some coaching together, I could write, hey, Troy, I've really enjoyed working with you. If you wouldn't mind just giving me a testimonial that just says, how your networking has improved, how you've gotten more referrals as a result of working with me, and how you've actually increased your revenue for the year. And now you go through and all you do is you just do those 3 things that I just asked you to do, and you write a testimonial doing that. So if you could find a few bullet points of how you're helping the students, maybe with confidence, maybe with and competence, and those types of things, then and tell them what you're looking for in a review, then that's it makes it easier for somebody to write a testimonial for you.
okay. Yeah, that's.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, absolutely.
So my sister is a math tutor, in New York City. And honestly, if you just ask the child, you do it with children, like are they students?
Yeah, middle school, high school.
Yeah. So I would ask the student for a referral. You know, what do you like about me? Do you have any friends that need some help too? I would get it, you know, from them. They're like, yeah, Joe, he's not doing too well either with algebra, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Okay.
I don't know. She has been incredibly successful, and she has all kinds. But she does exactly what you do, and you know, she's a retired administrator now, and she's still doing tutoring.
Okay, great.
There's a lot of that too, because of what's going on, you know, with virtual. Kids are behind, and they need people like you. So it's a huge, people will pay for it. So
Yeah,
good
maybe
luck.
you need to go out of the triangle and maybe focus on New York. Serious, you can market. I mean, it's a
Right.
virtual world. You can market in the cities.
Right.
Well, anybody that's studying for an SAT needs somebody like you right now. So I don't think you have to go too far, to be honest. You go to the high schools, you go to guidance counselors, you know, I think those, you know, it's worked for her. So she's actually put ads on all kinds of like, I don't know, just post things someplace. So, you know, I don't know, but.
Okay, thanks.
So why don't we go to Victor? Hey, Victor, are you there, buddy?
I am here.
Oh, there you are.
and it's been great just listening, being a fly on the wall. It's been fantastic, actually. And to answer, I guess the primary question, I think prospecting would be my go-to. From experience, based on my background, I've been in, let's call it sales, for the majority of my professional life, working with original equipment manufacturers. And now I've changed.
Wow.
Yeah, I've changed path and have moved on to trying to help people with their health needs and helping them with their benefits, helping them with their coverage, helping them make and keep the money that they've worked so hard to accumulate and maintain. And I guess prospecting is a part of this business, getting out there, and it incorporates the networking, it incorporates the relationship building, creating trust with people. I have found it to be challenging. I think that I had a very successful, I've had successful careers with whom I've worked for. This is kind of like a path that I'm taking after a long career and not willing to give up and say retirement is the only thing I'm going to do now.
Good for you.
So I've thought of, you know, going in this direction, and it's been challenging.
You sound like Tom, where you're just refused to give up. You're just gonna keep fighting. You're the guys that live forever, though.
Yeah, there's no such word as give up, right?
Yeah, you're the guys that live forever. Either you go to the golf course or you keep working hard, and you guys are working hard, and I like that. So you said that it's been challenging, Victor. What would you say has been your biggest challenge, unless you say COVID, because that's a challenge all unto itself.
You know, and I look at COVID as an opportunity. I look at COVID as an opportunity only because, you know, the internet has allowed everyone to speed up their evolution as society, the cultures, you know, people, the workplace, etc. And now that COVID has forced everybody to jump into that pool. And all of a sudden, sink or swim. And those of us that are, and everybody's struggling in different ways. But I think COVID has been an opportunity, and it's taught me that some of the skills that I took for granted, I've got to improve and hone on. So it's been interesting. You know, there's a lot of guerrilla type strategies in this business, and some of those things, you know, you need to have that personal communication face to face with people more so than, you know, just cold calling. Cold calling is something I never did before, and it's one of those things that I'm struggling with.
Well, yeah, you know, Victor, cold calling is not an easy thing to do. However, and I'm thinking Yolanda might agree with me on this, is once after you do the third or fourth or maybe sixth one, it actually gets a little easier. Yeah, it gets a little easier until the next day. Then when you do it again the next day, that phone feels like it's about 100 pounds. But after the third or fourth or fifth one, the phone gets lighter and lighter until it feels like it's just made of styrofoam until the next day.
Well, hey, Joe, you know, the thing, I absolutely hate cold calling, but what I think works if you're gonna do cold calling is, to me, and I know it kind of doubles the work, but to me the first thing is you walk in and you introduce yourself and you just do a leave behind, because in that way there you're not. When I do cold calling, when I used to do cold calling, it seemed like when you catch people off guard, they already start thinking negative. You know, it's like, oh, what's this person doing? Did they see the sign, no solicitation, you know, that kind of thing. But if you walk in and just say, hey, I'm such and such, business card, little leave behind, and I just wanted to drop this off and, you know, and just introduce myself, and then off you go. Then when you come back, now you can come back and say, oh, you know, I was here and I dropped something off. And now maybe you start making an introduction and see if you can talk to somebody that might be, you know, of value to you. I mean, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, and that's the in-person drop-ins, and yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier, where, you know, if you can build up a thicker skin, it is a step above the cold call, because it's a little warmer because you're face to face with somebody. But I'm going to tell you, me personally, I found it more difficult to do the in-person, but I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I did it regularly.
So I think that when you go to do a cold call, you are obviously interrupting someone's day.
Right.
And you have to be really mindful and considerate of them. It is not about you, but you're also trying to get some information. I would not just put drop off, leave, come back. That's too much time in my life. I got to sell, and you want closing. I go in there and I'm in there 30 seconds, and it looks like we're out of time, but.
Well, we have 50 seconds. We could keep
Okay,
going.
I would go in. Hi, I'm Yolanda Hawkins with CEI. Who do I talk to about your copiers and printers? I know you're busy. Do you have a card? And I can look around a room and see a Xerox or something else, and I'll say, oh, how long have you had that Canon? Okay, great. Have a great day. And I'm out of there in a minute, less than a minute. And I think that's, and then you know who you're calling, and then you call back, and I met the front girl's name, and I'll say, I spoke to so-and-so, and she asked me to call you. When does your lease end?
The other thing that I've done, and then we'll jump out, is I would go in, Victor, and I would walk into, let's say, a printing company, and I would say, hi, Margie, could you tell me real quickly, who is the person that handles the health insurance in your company? And that's all you need to know. And Margie will say, I don't know. Or Margie will say, oh, that's Bob and Ruth. You need to talk to them. And that's all you need to know. Then you can go.
Yeah, but you can also.
We're back. Hey, everybody. I
hope you guys, getting good.
I'll tell you what, we had a fantastic breakout session. I loved it.
Ours beat yours.
Huh?
Ours beat yours.
Thanks, Kim. I was feeling so confident there. Hey, so if we could really quickly, if everybody could go and remute yourselves, and we're going to just we're going to hear from another couple of great sponsors, and then we'll go into the next section. Okay. Now, this person, our next sponsor, is a good friend of mine, and when I like to joke, and she doesn't like when I make this joke. He helped me a lot with when I had gotten, during my divorce, I had blown up weight-wise, and my health was just feeling, I just felt really unhealthy. My heart was racing all the time. I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. So the joke and she helped me with that to reduce my weight and get healthier. But the joke I like to make, which she hates, is that I used to wake up every day wondering if today is going to be the day I have a heart attack. Now it'll just be a surprise because I feel great. So I'm going to, on that note, I'm going to give it to my good friend, Robin Thomas.
No, please don't have a heart attack, Joe.
Okay.
Have you out there ever felt you're so busy taking care of your business, your family, and your home, too busy to take care of yourself? I woke up to my own personal reality 20 years ago, and I realized that negative habits were ruling my life. I was working in a medical research lab, starting my workday at 4 a.m., skipping lunch in order to rush home to be with my seriously ill son so my husband could head out to his work. Donuts and coffee for breakfast, skipping lunch, and poor sleep habits added to overwhelming stress until I could barely get out of bed without a great deal of stiffness and pain. I was only 40 years old, but I felt like 80. I left that research lab in 2004 to begin my wellness business with USANA Health Sciences. And I began the transformation of my own life by changing some simple but important habits. When I coach women and men like you, I incorporate my own experiences to help you transform your own life. My 25 years of medical research brings me scientific perspective of health that includes a desire to continue learning about new developments in health and wellness. My 30 years as the mother of a son with many challenging health issues has given me a greater understanding of the importance of a more holistic approach to health. My experience with the transformation of my own health over the past 20 years has given me the understanding of how difficult it can be to get started making significant lifestyle changes, and yet how rewarding. My desire is to help women and men like you discover you don't have to buy into the belief that we gain weight and lose energy, fitness, and vibrancy as we age. Yes, it's possible to be healthy and filled with energy. I listen to your needs and questions as we work together to find the best approach, providing resources that help you learn about and put into action lifestyle changes that can help you transform your life. Contact me today to schedule a complimentary 30-minute discovery session. I'll put the link on my calendar in the chat.
Thank you so much, Robin. I appreciate that so much. So our next sponsor is she can help you get away from it all. Once, if you want to get out, she may even know some places, some COVID-friendly places where you can travel. And that's our friend from Action Travel, Melinda Vargas.
Good morning, guys. I want you to feel some energy. We are Action Travel and Professional Development Journeys. So I have run Action Travel, a great business. It has really supported me and my family and all my employees for 30 years. We're in our 31st year this year. 30 years was hard to do during COVID. We didn't get to have a big party, and we will, but we didn't yet. But this year, through Action Travel, I have gotten into large circles of coaches, speakers, entrepreneurs, small business people, and I help them take that needed vacation. And we're going to Hawaii. How many of you want to go to Hawaii and write it off of your taxes? So that's what we do. You give me 8 hours in 8 days, and it's so cool. We meet every evening at 5 p.m. for notable networking. I stole that one from Joe. And we meet for 30 minutes. So there's a sponsor time during that 30 minutes. And we meet the first evening. We arrive Honolulu. We get set to our beachfront rooms in Waikiki Beach. I take an hour. I explain what the program's going to be like this week. We get up the next morning, go to Pearl Harbor. We get on the Pride of America, the only U.S. flagship, and we set sail. We have 2 days in Maui, 2 days on the Big Island, and 2 days in Kauai. Well, 2 of those afternoons when we have to be back on board, we will have a 2-hour session. We have powerful speakers. You'll walk away energized, motivated, enthusiastic about your plan and how you're going to grow your future. Joe's giving you the great foundation today. I'm trying to get he and Julie on board with us this fall, but we're going in September. And anybody who has interest, I will get ready to put my information in the chat. Please reach out to us. If you're not sure where you want to go, you can go many places now. Jamaica, Costa Rica, Mexico, that don't have any requirements. So reach out to Action Travel. I would love to help you. I have a great team who will support us to get you and help you make the best memories ever. Those once-in-a-lifetime events. Come see me, Action Travel and Professional Development Journeys. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous day.
Thank you so much, Melinda, and I appreciate you very much for being here today. So, what we're going to talk about now is the mindset of money and hiring people. There is no doubt that not having your mindset right when it comes to money can completely destroy your business. Having a negative mindset when it comes to your personal finances can be just as detrimental, but for the sake of time, I'm only going to focus on business right now. So first, let me tell you, I am not a financial coach. I'm definitely not a financial advisor either. That's why we have Charles Calloway here today. And I only started using QuickBooks a little over a year ago, thanks to Janet Ickes from Excel with Me. However, I've had a lot of experience doing business finances, and a lot of it the wrong way. For me, doing it the wrong way means that I didn't have absolute clarity on what my numbers were. And as a result of not having clarity, in the past, I had extreme anxiety and fear anytime I had to think about money. I used to own a printing company that was terribly impacted by the recession in 2008. And my partner was in charge of money, and I was in charge of sales. And I had very little clue as to what our numbers were. And at times, I felt like the less I knew, the better off I was. And that was a mistake that I'll never, ever do again. One day, and if you guys could remute yourselves, that would be great. One day, I discovered we were in far deeper debt than I could have imagined. And there was a lot of money missing that was unaccounted for. So to put it nicely, things were an absolute mess. As a result, I became very anxious and quite depressed because I felt like I had little control over my present circumstances as well as my future. Things felt very uncertain and not in a fun, exciting way. Eventually, I closed that business and filed bankruptcy and had to start all over. Now, with my new business, however, I learned to keep track of my numbers. I also created a good system for tracking all my spending and my income. It wasn't perfect, but I knew what was coming in and what was going out. And for the sake of feeling more confident, though, I needed greater clarity. And that's where Janet Ickes came in, and she helped to turn that all around for me. Now, this is in no way meant as a plug for QuickBooks. I know that there are several other options out there, and this is simply a plug that you should use something that'll give you real-time tracking of your money. And be sure to keep track of your receivables and who owes you money. Now, once I got QuickBooks set up and created all my categories, my financial life has never been more crystal clear than it is now. And I got to tell you that I love it. I think my anxiety level is so much less. My need for certainty is met when I think of my money now. And if you don't have clarity on what your financial numbers are, then you really don't have any business hiring an employee or even outsourcing unless you can pay for the services up front. I believe we should try to focus on outsourcing many of the tasks we're just not good at. And an example is I spent hours trying to work on Facebook ads, and in the end, it was just a big fail. So instead, I outsourced it to Michelle Doffinger, and that's because that's what she does, and she does it great. When you're a newer business, a solopreneur, or a high-volume sales professional, then outsourcing is by far your smartest option. Now, one reason that we may not want to hire someone is that we don't need the pressure of being responsible for someone else's paycheck. Now, an example of outsourcing could be having an external business do all your social media posting. or it can be someone doing great content creation for you. And I thank God that I'm married to a content creator. It can also be outsourcing your web development. Now, a good example, though, of hiring somebody is like Philip Moretti. When you create a plan. You know that you need an employee. You know that you want somebody else on your team. But instead of just saying, I'm going to hire this person, you create the plan, step by step, how you're going to get to that person. So that this way, when it's time to hire that person, everything is in place. You're not starting from scratch the minute that person walks in the door. But how often does that happen? Has anybody here ever been a part of a situation like that where you walked into a new job and the boss was making it up on the fly? Because I can tell you that I did once, and it was very stressful for about 5 years. So I'm curious, have any of you here ever outsourced, or are you currently outsourcing in your business? So you can just type it in the chat. Doing it now, yes, no, would love to, thinking about it. I'm just curious. So Janet is yes, Donna, yes. Charles says, that's right, Sherry. Robin, I have a virtual assistant. You were the first person I knew that did that, Robin. Charles, exploring it now. Susan, going to outsource a direct mail campaign. I think Susan Watson also, who's on this call today, that's one of her side business, is that she can do that for people. Philip, outsourcing bookkeeping and payroll. And I've done it myself, and I'm doing it currently, where I outsource some of the processes from my business. But when it comes to hiring, that is a completely different game. Now, first off, you'll have to have the right mindset for hiring somebody. Okay, you'll want to have the right mindset for managing an employee. You'll need to have the right mindset when you have to make decisions an employee is not happy about. And again, it is imperative that you have a strong money mindset when you've got employees. I don't care if you've got 1 employee or if you've got 100 employees. Your employees cannot be going through your financial stress with you. When your employees are stressed because you're stressed about money, that's going to show in their work and performance. So let me encourage you to have a team of financial experts in place when it comes to money in both your personal life and your business life. First, you want to have a good CPA who is aware of business taxes, not just personal taxes, business taxes. The CPA we had hired when we first purchased the printing company in 2008, she didn't know about taxes, business taxes. So she was focused mostly on personal, and she missed some important red flags when she reviewed the P&Ls during the purchase portion of the business. She also incorrectly advised my partner about setting up our books, but she came as a referral from our financial advisor at that time. Then you want to have a good business attorney that you've established a relationship with. Whether or not you keep this person on retainer is up to you. However, the important thing is to get the relationship established. You don't want the first conversation you have with this person to be when you have a problem, because what happens if you don't like them? Then you want to make sure you've got a strong relationship with a financial advisor, somebody like a Charles Calloway from Primerica, who is strong in educating his clients. And finally, it's important you know your banker by name, which is why I prefer more local banks, like use First Citizens as an example. When I walk into the bank where I keep my business account, I want the tellers to know me by name. Now, when you have these pieces of the puzzle in place, you can stand confidently knowing that you've taken the first steps to protecting your business and its finances. Now that's going to lead us right into our next breakout session. And what we're going to do, Ed, Ed, are you ready to send us into breakouts in a moment?
Yes, I am.
All right. So the question, everybody, is that we have for the next breakout session is, what one area in your business do you wish you had greater clarity about? And that's up to you to decide. Money is a big one, but there could be other areas, okay? what have you tried? What other options are there? Okay, and are we gonna get, oh, thanks, Ed, for putting that in there. So why don't we go to our breakout sessions? Ed, make it 19 minutes because then it always adds the extra minute at the end so that it'll be a full 20. If you can do that.
Yep, ready?
All right, buddy.
All right, here we go.
See you all in a bit.
Some of you folks will not be moving to.
All right. Hey, all. Christine, you have to, oh, everybody has to unmute.
There we go.
Great. Well, it's so wonderful to see you all.
Just 4 of us.
I know. Well, we'll see if somebody else joins. I know that happened last time. We had 5, well, 6, actually, me included. But that's okay, because that gives us all a little extra time to talk about this particular issue. Now, so again, the question that we have is, what one area in your business do you wish you had greater clarity about? What have you tried, and what other options are there? Now, Susan, I know you've had multiple businesses in your life, and that's a compliment.
Which Susan?
Yeah. Oh my God, Susan Watson, not Susan Westwood. That's kind of fun. So just so you guys know, the way I did the breakouts was I did it where the first group of breakouts I did alphabetical by first name and then broke it up for people. And then the second group I did alphabetical by last name and broke it up. So that's why we
WAs. WA.
That's why Susan Westwood and I keep ending up together, which is great.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, clearly we're supposed to have a connection here. So
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it.
The next one was broken up by email addresses. So maybe you guys won't end up in the same room. The first letter of the alphabetically by email address. I guess we'll find out. But Susan Watson, so, you know, I know that you're very experienced. You're very professional in what you've done over the years, but I know that none of us are perfect.
Right.
And so what would you say, this is to Susan Watson, she's in my upper left corner. What would you say is one area that you wish you had greater clarity about?
Which business?
Whichever one pays the bills the most, I guess.
Right. You sling spaghetti against a wall, right? No, Joe knows me well. A long career with Northwestern Mutual in Greensboro, coaching financial representatives. And I think it was that period of time where I just really became enamored with small business. My ex-husband was a small business owner. I learned how to do our taxes. I learned how to keep his receipts and records. And then I went to work for Northwestern Mutual, and I was the glue in the middle of the office for these folks that were commission-only salespeople. And so what we did was coach them to think like a business owner. And after 13 years of that, I found myself in Burlington as the director of the Women's Resource Center, nonprofit sector, different industry, and no prior experience in nonprofits other than volunteering, but it was the business part of it that I think actually landed me the job. But all along the way, I've always had a side gig, always. I've sold makeup. I've been a real estate agent. There's always been something, and that's part of what I do here is coaching women to think about, if my $10, $12, $15 an hour job is not paying the bills, what else can I do to create multiple streams of revenue? And so Joe knows I have a stationery business that's been kind of a hobby business. And it feeds my creativity. Delegating for Success was born out of, one, sooner or later, I will retire from the Women's Resource Center, and I need something to supplement my retirement, right? to provide the travel, the fun stuff for it. So that's where I need more clarity around what is that going to look like. I do a little bit of real estate investing, but my passion, so to speak, is supporting entrepreneurs when they're not quite ready to hire somebody yet. How do you step into it, right? How do you start where you are and hand over some small project stuff? So I don't think that really answers your question about my personal.
It's because it leads me to ask you a question. And Christine and Susan Westwood, if you have any, we can all jump in and help each other here. What would have you tried anything to get greater clarity on what that's going to look like? I don't know when you're retiring because you're younger than me, so how could you retire? But have you given that any thought? And have you tried anything to get clarity, like done what you might tell somebody else to do, like write it out or, create a vision, a plan?
Yeah, I think fear is one of the single biggest challenges that I have. My kids would tell you that I'm a big what ifer. And so it's I think that I look for the things that are going to get in the way of the success. They think I jump to the deep end of the pool and go, oh my God, this could happen.
Susan,
go ahead, Christine.
So I know you're a coach, but have you tried a coach specifically for this scenario? Because it sounds like you're setting up roadblocks. You just declared to all of us that you are like the what if queen. So you're deliberately putting roadblocks in front of yourself and you're preventing yourself from moving forward and having clarity on this particular topic. So maybe, maybe maybe you need to seek someone out to help you kind of get through those barriers and find that clarity.
I have given some thought to that. And Christine, it's so funny that you make that comment. My mother's name was Christine.
Well, she's talking to you through me right now. She's telling you to take your own advice. You need to talk to someone and get some clarity. But yeah, it does sound like you're putting up some mental roadblocks.
Yeah.
To get out of your own way. Not that we all don't do that, but
I stepped into this business delegating, set up the LLC, started talking about it, started networking about it. I had a real problem thinking about it being a conflict of interest here with the Women's Resource Center and what I do. I've actually hired recently as a virtual assistant one of our clients.
Okay, good.
Because that kind of was I was inspired by one of our clients who put herself out on Facebook as a virtual assistant. And I'm like, man, if she can do this with really limited resources, why couldn't I be the connector in the community to entrepreneurs that I love to support who are not quite ready to hire an employee yet, but ready to hand off something, whether it's the social media, whether it's the bookkeeping, small project, to get used to learning how to delegate. So and then at the same time, I could develop virtual assistants.
Yeah, and we're running tight on time, but that was great. And, and I'd be thrilled to talk to you more about that, Susan, just one-on-one.
Sure.
And that brings me to Susan too. So what about yourself? Just is there an area in your business that you wish you had greater clarity about?
Well, this is only my second full year in this industry. And so what I do is, it's a still, and I think it always is a constant learning experience. I know for me, I am really blessed that I get a lot of, like I said earlier, warm/hot leads in the other breakout room, existing clients that maybe haven't had an agent call them in years, or they have a lapse policy. But what I want to do, and this is something that is separate yet part of it, is to actually market myself as, I'm very open and honest about my journey in sobriety and becoming a very I had to totally recreate my life at the end of 2018 and 2019. And now that I have a life beyond my wildest imagination, because I put sobriety first, I want to start looking at ways that I can do that, or like the sober life insurance agent or the sober entrepreneur. And I want to start looking at ways that now that I've crossed all these what I call invisible lines and pushed all these buttons, how do I get to that next level? Because quite frankly, I may not spend the rest of my life selling insurance. This is my fourth career, and I'm only 53, so it's not going to be my last. So how do I take that to a new and different level? So that's how I'm interested in marketing myself.
So question, do you know Laura Harris?
Oh yes, Lauren Harris and I are yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, because yeah, she does all of that herself, and
yes,
you know, posting that. Well, 26 years, just so you
oh
know.
wow, good
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and one of the things what you were talking about, and the clarity of how to do that, is just, you know, in my opinion, would be to just keep doing what you're doing. It's that whole, I like to say, the test and measure. You know, try something, see how it's working. If it's not, then try something different.
Right.
You know, so test, track, and
philosophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Susan, I've got to say, I pulled up your Facebook page just now, and I've seen some of your stuff because you and I've already connected on Facebook, and I've been in some of these networking things with you, and I just admire your honesty and your clarity.
Yeah.
With what you've been through, and I think that has to work for you. I really do. I think just your willingness to be vulnerable. One of the things that I know about myself is I'll have people say, "Why did you tell that?" And I'm like, "It's my story, man."
Yeah.
You know, it's who I am.
Well, and there is going to be more of that coming. I do need to make sure that it's something, you know, that not from a Transamerica standpoint. I mean, Transamerica knows my story, knows my journey, and you know, I had something happen, and they had to, you know, really support me. So, and they continue to do so, but I think honesty is the best policy. So, you know, they've had to help me work through something, and you know, in the last year or so, and even just my decision to move back, you know, over here to be with my mom after being a full year in Raleigh, because a lot of people don't know I lived in Raleigh for a full year. It was a little bit of an experiment, but I just, you know, tell them, okay, I've got a little bit of a, you know, setback or something, and we need to help me work through this. So, and they're willing to do that. So
it sounds like a good company. Sounds like a really good company.
Yep.
Well, thank you for being so transparent and honest. And you know, it's funny because I know you do life insurance, and Christine, Wallers, I don't know if you two know each other, but Christine, I've never met somebody in my life that is more passionate about helping people protect themselves in regard to life insurance, and that's, I just admire Christine so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
And, so Christine, if you know, from your experience, because you've been doing it a while now too, you know, if there was one area of your business that you wish you had greater clarity on currently, you know, what would that be?
Well, for me, I don't know if I was on the right track here, but whenever I think about like what area do I need the most help in, it's my email marketing. So that's like a very specific thing. And by the way, really quick, hi Susan. I can't imagine not doing life insurance the rest of my life. I just wanted to say that when you said like, this is not your last career. I was like, what? And I am also from Boston. So I saw that in your profile that you're from Boston. So we should connect. Anyways, but my biggest hurdle when it comes to my business is besides like, getting leads or, that kind of stuff. But if I just hone in, my biggest area that I should be outsourcing and have to find a way to really work that into my budget is the email marketing, because I have worked with some of the best. I have tried to learn. I have had a VA. That didn't go well. We were on like different paths, what I wanted and what she wanted to do for me. And like I worked with the Small Business Center here in North Carolina, and I had a coach for a very, very long time because COVID increased the grant money, and I had a coach for like 12 weeks.
Wow.
And we should talk about that, Joe. And I worked on, writing emails, learning how to do my own emails, doing blogs and all that, but it's not my forte. So my biggest hurdle right now is learning, and this is sort of a money mindset thing too, is I need to learn to spend money in that area, because it is not anything I'm good at. I own that. It doesn't mean I can't get good at it, but I feel like I've spent so much time trying to get good at it that time I'm spending is taking away from me working my business. So,
Christine, I'd be really interested to talk to you about your challenges with a virtual assistant.
Yeah, I
really.
thought it was funny when you were
I learned that way. That's an intro for me to just say, hey, what didn't go well? Because I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I don't think I did a good job of like interviewing and really finding the right person. And I thought I explained what I wanted from her, and that just wasn't her thing. So yes, so if I decide to do a VA, Susan, I know you're the company I need to go through for sure. But that's my hurdle. So it's kind of a little bit of a money thing, and also just an area where I'm owning that I'm not good at it. We can suck at something. That's what I suck at.
We can, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and look at, that's what I was talking about with the Facebook ads. See, I mean, I think that that a lot of folks would agree. I'm pretty good at marketing on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Organically. But when it came to the Facebook ads, I just sucked at it.
Yeah.
And Christine, when I tell you that I one day spent 8 hours, 8 freaking hours trying to get one ad accepted, and they kept rejecting it and kept rejecting it.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I was banging the table. And
I understand, because try writing a Facebook ad that doesn't discuss death. Can't do it. It's very, very hard when you do life insurance ads.
Yeah.
So you discuss life. I discuss life. I celebrate life. I don't celebrate death. Life insurance isn't for the dead. It's for the living.
Right.
I say it all the time. So.
So, well, I'll tell you the one area that I've struggled with clarity is my future in this business. Because and Christine, we just talked about this recently, because I realized that the model that I was using for these past 7 years just isn't working the way I need to change the model.
Yep.
And so while I'm creating the new model, it's still not 100% clear what it looks like, and it starts in 4 months. So, well, it actually starts now, because next month is my last monthly event, and then it'll be 3 months till when I start doing them quarterly, and so there's a lot of fear. And so what I'm doing is I have a board of advisors that are helping me to create a plan, and that's
one of the best things you can do, Joe.
Yeah, and that's really been helpful. But I need other people's input to get people who are where I want to be, or have been where I'm, have already done it. And those are the people that are helping me to put this together, what will be the future of my business.
Well, Joe, I've told you, you're going to do great. This next step is the right step for you, and it's where you need to be, and you're headed in the right direction, and it's going to do great.
Thanks. I appreciate it. All right. I'll see you guys over there. That was great.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody.
Nice meeting you, ladies.
Who are competitive realtors in this area, but I haven't found the out west ones.
Right.
That's what I'm
trying to hook up with mortgage folks too.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Great
talk.
idea. Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. Come on.
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess everybody's coming back slowly but surely. We had a great time in our breakout session and learned a lot. about just all three of us. I feel like we learned a lot in that session. You know, so just Ed, tell me when I can't see it. We have 22 people that I don't.
They're working on it.
33 people dropped off. Like, all right, I'm done with this thing.
No, we're working on it. They're coming back slowly.
Okay, slowly but surely.
Well, that means they're having a good breakout session. They're not like, oh, get me out of here.
Right. We had a great breakout session. We really had a good group this time, and last time too. Looks like everybody's back now, Joe.
Yeah, looks like everybody's back. So, well, that was great, everybody. And what we're going to do is, and I left Charles.
Is the closing?
Oh, if everybody could go ahead and mute yourselves first, please. But I left Charles for specifically at this point, because a lot of us, if we were talking about anything around trouble with clarity around money, Charles is the man to talk to about that. And so, and Charles, one of the things that I always like to point out about Charles that I don't think a lot of people know is that he served in the military. He was one of those lifers in the military, and this is a second career for him. So I appreciate the service that he's given to our country, and I just appreciate him as a person and as a friend. So if we could, please listen to Charles Calloway of Primerica, and he's going to share with us a little bit about how he can help us.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. We all know sort of what we want financially. I just don't think we quite always know how to get there. No map, no guide, left to guess. We're probably going to make more mistakes than we want to financially going through our lives. And so what I do is I help people with a cutting edge digital tool, helping them help navigate their money decisions. I also, I've been told I'm a pretty good listener. So I'm able to help people synthesize what's on their mind and try to prioritize their goals and dreams so they can get there. My focus is on small business owners and their employees. I love doing workshops. As a matter of fact, one of the things happening in a couple of weeks, I'm doing a workshop, and we're actually calling it Your Money GPS. It's by invitation only, and it's not going to be a sell session. It's going to be an opportunity to learn so we can worry less about money. We can move from I'm worried to I'm ready. That's the whole focus of it. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I'll put the Eventbrite in the chat. And if you wanted to help us, we are actively looking for small business owners that are trying to improve their value proposition to talent they're trying to attract, especially blue collars. One of my best clients he owns an auto repair shop, and they're growing their team. And one of the things that's essential for them is to bring a value proposition to them that's more than just making a good paycheck. So anyway, Charles Calloway, Financial Advisor.
Thank you so much, Charles. I appreciate you. So that brings us to our last sponsor, who is the man behind the curtain, the man who makes all of this happen for us and run nice and smooth, flow nice and easy, is my friend Ed Meyer of Island Media Services. So take it away, Ed.
Thank you,
Tell us
Joe.
how wonderful you are.
Thanks, Joe. Oddly enough, the host cannot highlight himself. So if you're in the Brady Bunch mode, just look for me. Otherwise, you should see me because I'm gabbing and I'm quite loud. So I'm Ed Meyer with Highland Media Services, and what we do is we help our clients grow by promoting their products and services with traditional and contemporary marketing opportunities. Now, what do I mean by traditional versus contemporary? Well, a traditional marketing might be a postcard or a flyer or a booklet or a trifold. A contemporary marketing might be a PowerPoint presentation or updating your website. So we try to help folks with, both types of marketing here. And what we'll do is print just about anything you want. We can design you business cards all the way up to billboards. We can have just about any type of promotional product you can think of with your name on it. So right here, these are our mugs. I know there's a big glare there, but these little tumblers here, as you can see, have our logo on them and some info. We can put those together for you. We work with loads and loads of distributors, of suppliers, I should say, who provide amazing products. And what's important to us too is, especially with promotional products as well as your print products, I plain out won't sell garbage. So if somebody comes to me and decides, hey, I want to see how many pens I can get for $100, then that's really, really kind of not what we're all about. We're about helping you project a quality company. So if you give away a non-quality product, how is that going to leave somebody in the back? How's that going to leave somebody as they leave? Oh, he gave me a piece of garbage. What does he care about me? And I'm not having a good day phrasing myself well, but I hope I'm getting myself across. Right now, we have a brand new what we call lookbook. So if you're trying to get some new marketing materials and you're not sure what to get, we have a great lookbook for print materials. Anything, like I said, from business cards all the way up to billboards and posters. I'll post a link to that in the chat, as well as we're running a special right now for pens, drinkware, and bags with no setup fees and free ground shipping. There's select bags and select pens, but there's a huge collection, and I'm going to post a link to that as well. You can take a look, and if you have questions about any of that or anything else, we would love to help you. Again, I am Ed Meyer with Island Media Services. I want to thank Joe for the opportunity to see all you fine folks today and work with him with these events he has. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate you. So, all right, let's talk about networking, both online and in person. Now, if there's one thing sales professionals and small business owners have discovered during COVID, it's that building relationships is more important than ever before. Now, whether your business has been on pause or even if your business is flourishing, now is not the time to go and get hidden, okay? Waiting for everything to open back up. It's not too late to develop a strong online presence. It's extremely important that your profiles on LinkedIn and Facebook are fully complete. And that means having current phone numbers, a current business email address, and correct website address. See, right now, people have less patience than they've ever had before. So we want to make it easy for them to refer us, or even better yet, make it easy for them to pay you for your products and services. Now, as we get closer to the pandemic coming to an end, and yes, it will eventually come to an end, now is when you'll want to work smarter and harder than you've ever worked before. The future of your business depends on what you do and how you do it. And if you choose to do nothing, the results will prove themselves. However, for those of you who take charge of your business, take charge of the activities you perform in your business, well, the results will definitely prove themselves later. Now, in the coming months, we'll be looking at both a hybrid version of networking, which will be in person and online, which some of us have already experienced that. But what we're going to talk about right now is the online version. Now, if you haven't already, you're going to have to continue getting creative in what you do and how you're approaching your prospects. You have to put more effort into building relationships now more than ever before. Now, unless you're selling gas and cigarettes at the Circle K, a transactional mindset does not work. Don't say anything online that you wouldn't say in person that can alienate people. Don't be insulting to others. Stay free of online drama. Okay, somebody posted yesterday that that Facebook is not your therapist. So be free of online drama. Always keep it PG-13. And unless you're a politician, avoid politics now more than ever. And also don't ever post religion jokes. What you think is funny, somebody else may be completely offended by, and that could have been a potential client for you. All this does not mean that we have to be clones of each other. As a matter of fact, I encourage everybody to be authentic when you're on social media. Dick O'Donnell, for anybody who doesn't know him, he's somewhere in here. I can't see him now, but Dick O'Donnell may be the most authentic person I've ever met, and I pray that he never changes. Okay, so be authentic, just don't be insulting. And make sure in everything you do that your value proposition is loud and clear. And let me know, what is the problem that you solve? The solution you have for solving it, and finally, the benefits that I'm going to get from working with you. And have a strategic plan of attack when networking on social media. Again, remember the word there, networking on social media. I'm not going to use our time right now talking about social media. However, if you follow Michelle Goffinger from Triangle Social Media, she does offer weekly trainings that you can learn a ton of information from. And I'm speaking from experience because I learn a lot from her. Don't wait for people to find you, okay? Join and engage in groups on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I like to think of it like I'm joining the association of my target client, okay? So that's one of the things that I always train people around networking is join the associations of your target client. We'll do the same thing on the Facebook and LinkedIn groups. You want to find Facebook and LinkedIn groups that you see where they're doing a lot to endorse their members and are offering a lot of good opportunities for business growth. Now, two great examples are locally are Raleigh Referrals and Recommendations and the Raleigh Business Networking Group. Everybody here is welcome to join my group, which is Grow Your Network, Grow Your Business. And we have a lot of great conversation in there. The group is growing, and it's been a lot of fun having that group, and I really enjoy it. When you join the right groups, you can engage directly with many of the types of people you're already asking for referrals to. So just join conversations and get involved. And this is your place to share valuable information and offers that can be helpful to targets and your target clients and referral sources. You can also find Zoom meetups in other communities, states, or even countries that you can jump onto to meet new people. They're still popping up all over the world, so you just have to look for them and find them. An easy way is there are hundreds of opportunities to network around the world right now just through the BNI platform. I mean, it's crazy. And I've met a lot of people who have come to my BNI chapter who were from England, Germany, France, and then other sides of the country. We have a guy who comes to my group kind of regularly. We need to stop him from Colorado. You don't have to be a member either. You just go to bni.com, click the button, get invited, put in a zip code for wherever you'd like to network. I mean, it's truly that simple. We talked about this earlier, but your referral partnerships are more important now than ever before. All our businesses are relying heavily on referrals. And if you don't have referral partners, let's work on a strategy together, because building referral teams is a specialty of mine. And I know that there are quite a few people on here today who can attest to that. Now, during this time that we're in, schedule a weekly or bi-weekly meeting with your referral partners. And if you want, even give each other homework, okay, after each meeting. That's entirely up to you, though. And that brings me to in-person networking. Now, while my crystal ball is still broken, it appears we're getting closer to being able to network in person again with more regularity. And I can't say exactly when, but I believe it's coming sooner rather than later. And please remember, for a period of time, there will be people who won't be comfortable networking in person. So please don't lose those connections. When we begin to network in person again, be respectful of how other people feel. It'll take some people longer than others to get back out there, and that's okay. And then some people may never network in person again. And you know what? That's okay. Some people are ready to get back out and begin networking today, me included. And you know what? That's okay too. Just be respectful of how other people feel. That means always ask first. I had a conversation recently with a very good friend of mine who is an etiquette expert named Sharon Hill, who she always taught in the past to ask first, handshake or hug. However, she said now it has morphed into whatever the other person considers appropriate. And that may just be as simple as saying, I'd love to shake your hand. What are you doing these days to say hello? If you're a handshaker or a hugger like me, approach with caution. Be understanding of how people who may be more standoffish moving forward feel, be more considerate of them. If you really want to shake hands, say, by the way, I have hand sanitizer. Now, for some people that may be good enough, and for others it won't. And if you plan on never shaking a hand or hugging another person at a networking event ever again, just plan ahead of time a respectful line that you'll use to share that message with others. Also, if you plan on getting back out there to network in person, please don't disappear from all the online networking groups you've been engaged in. You've invested time and people have invested time getting to know you. If some of those groups decide to keep meeting online indefinitely, identify one or two that you've gotten the most value from and continue to participate. And I've got to be totally honest with you, I've really enjoyed networking online and I've saved a ton of money in gas alone. What I'm going to share next applies whether you're networking in person or you're networking online. And I know some of you are probably getting tired of hearing me talk about the importance of follow-up. However, I am never, ever going to get tired of talking about it. The fortune is in the follow-up. I suggest that every one of you have a 3 to 5 touch follow-up system. Now for me, it starts with an email, followed by a phone call, followed by a handwritten note card, followed by a phone call, followed by an email. And that's spread out over a period of time, okay? Not in 6 days. Now what's important is you want to have a customer relationship management system or a CRM. And that's an online database, usually in the cloud, that allows you to keep all that information in there. I use Zoho, okay, Z-O-H-O. Now there are dozens of great CRMs you can use that help to track who you're contacting, who is, what is the next step in the process. You can keep notes on the person. Now I'd be curious, what are some of the CRMs you're all using? I'd be curious as to what you all use. Well, okay, Janet is Soho, Janet Mason, Salesforce. Oh, because you're a nonprofit, that's right. Nick, an Outlook. Robin, Less Annoying. Less Annoying is supposed to be great from what I hear. Eileen, Agents Mate, very cool. So at the very least, what I want to say is please, if you're not using anything, please at the very least use an Excel spreadsheet to keep track of the touches and the activity. So whether it's 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months before you network in person again, keep working on building relationships. I've heard some people say they're feeling Zoom weary, and that makes me say, what? I'm so grateful that we've had Zoom at this time in our lives. Otherwise, many of us would have been working at McDonald's or Walmart. So, or I would have lost my mind sitting at home knowing that my network was out there and I couldn't engage with them. It's all in your mindset. And I like to say, change your mindset, change your life. So that brings us to where we are in question number 3, okay? Now, I want you all to stick around because after, when we come back, we're gonna have some fabulous prizes for you all. But for now, let's, our third question that we're gonna go into the final breakout session is, as we are approaching what is hopefully the pandemic's end, what are a couple of steps you can take to ensure that your tools to network are in top shape? And I'll just give you a couple of examples. Are all your social media profiles up to date with current email addresses and phone numbers? And you know if they are or they aren't. Do you have your target client profile written out and ready to share with others? And you know who you are if you don't. do you know who your best 2 or 3 referral sources are and how to get in touch with them? So those are some of the things that you may want to talk about in the breakout session. Hey, Ed, let's do this last one for, put it in for 18 minutes, okay? And then when we come back, we'll do some prizes, and you guys can all go forth and prosper. But let's do our breakout session.
And multiply.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Hey, Michelle Hill. Yay. How are you? So good to see you. Hey,
Glad to be here. Hello, Michelle. Haven't seen you for a couple days.
Hey, Drew. Yeah, Drew and I just spent, what, all last weekend, really the weekend before, with the Carolina Book and Writer Conference. That was a test.
And that's where you and I originally met in person, was at the Carolina Book Conference.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, that was what, 3-4 years ago? I don't know, probably about 4 years ago.
That's 5. This is our 5th annual.
This is
Yeah. Wow.
I'm in good company.
Just so everybody knows, for anybody who doesn't know Troy, he is a math tutor, wonderful guy. Michelle Troy, so I don't know. Yeah,
that's my math tutor.
That's your math tutor. No common core there, huh? Michelle, so both Michelle and Drew have similar businesses in that Drew helps people to get published, whether it's, you know, it could be fiction, it could be poetry, it could be, you know, a number of different topics. Whereas Michelle, she helps people to write and publish their books, but it's more focused on sports, people that are, you know, sport athletes who are, you know, were famous or I guess on the edge of fame or whatever, right?
Former fame.
Former fame, yeah, yeah. And so that's what they both do. But so why don't we jump into that question? Oh, I wish Ed had posted that. Oh, he did, good. So you just, you know, as we're approaching what is hopefully the pandemic's end, what are a couple of steps you can take to ensure that your tools to network are in top shape? Now, Drew, I mean, I see you, you know, pretty frequently, but like myself and anybody else, that doesn't mean that what we're doing is perfect. So if there was something that you felt that you could be better at in getting your message out there, what would you say that is?
I need to better target people who want to write the kind of books that I want to write.
Okay.
So again, that's business people who are writing books. It's health and healing people who are writing books. And Michelle and I are referral partners for these athletes. So we've done a lot of work together before. So, but the other areas, especially business books, I'm really looking for the right places to show up, because I do appreciate showing up at a lot of networking events, and I see you at a lot of those as well, Joe. But usually those are not the direct referrals for me, because a lot of those people are not writers.
Right. So they're the more your referral sources.
Yeah.
And so just to get clarity for myself, so what you're saying though is in regard to the question about, you know, what can you do, what are a couple of steps you can take to ensure that your tools are in top shape, is that you want to get more clear on how to get in touch with the people in the other spheres, like the business side.
Right. And health and healing, those folks that also have a desire to write. Because 93% of us want to write a book.
Right.
3%, 3 to 5% of us end up doing it.
Right.
As you know, Joe, because it's quite an endeavor.
It is.
And Michelle knows that too. She's written a book and she's helped a lot of people to write books. And but there's being able to pick out that 3 or 4% that are actually willing to go through the process. Takes some culling out, and I need to get I need to get that clear for myself.
So, you may know this already, but it could be a matter of, in some instances, networking, like for instance, in some of the health conferences or health associations, which is something you could certainly talk to Robin about, for invitations to some of those things. And then, you have, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure I'm correct, you have friends at NCER. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where you would find some of your friends who would potentially be able to, that are going to be looking to write books. Like Gary Tomlinson wrote his book. He's not the only one at NCER that wanted to write a book. I'm sure of that.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of being, so don't take this the wrong way, but if you're looking for top-notch business books and the people who are going to write the health book of the year, we're probably not going to find them at the Fuquay Arena Leads Group.
No.
Doesn't mean that you don't want to still go there. And I'm not saying not to go there. My point is that when we're looking to go up to that next level, then you've got to go to that next level.
Agreed. And the thing that I found about the smaller networking groups is that oftentimes they're useful for referrals.
Yeah.
Because people now know what I do, and so that's why I encourage people to join those networking groups, because they may not be. A lot of times, you're not marketing to the people in the group.
Right. You're marketing to the people they know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
thank you,
Troy,
Joe.
you're welcome, Drew. Thanks. So Troy, what about yourself? You have a book in you?
Yes, I've got a couple books in me, for sure. No doubt.
Well, there's your man.
Right. I don't know if I've got one about tutoring. I've got one about spiritual awakening. I've got one about barefoot hiking.
Wow.
Gee.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds like you and Drew should be talking.
I don't know if I have time or energy to devote to those projects, which is why I haven't written anything yet, but
Yeah.
they're in there.
Well, I'll tell you, for me, one of the greatest tools that God created for me these past few years has been otter.ai, because using otter.ai, I can talk what I would have been writing, and it just transcribes it for me, and then I just go back later and clean it up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So you can do it on your phone and have it on your computer, on your laptop as well, or a PC, whatever your computer, and it's in the cloud, so it's synced already. So just something to keep in mind. Okay. What do you think, though, Troy? Moving forward, what could you do to sharpen things up a little bit in regard to networking? Do you feel you may be networking in some of the wrong groups? Could you network in better groups, other groups, family groups, anything like that?
I think it's very simple for me. It just boils down to just doing it.
Right.
I haven't networked. I absolutely hate looking at screens.
Okay.
It hurts me emotionally, physically, psychologically. It's disconnection from humans.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so you're a self-professed introvert, is that right?
I am an introvert. Yes.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I buy that. I think you get energy from interacting with people. That's right. That's the definition of an extrovert.
When I get off of this, I can assure you, I will be totally drained, like as if, like the Dementors in Harry Potter.
Okay.
I know how much energy I have to bring to it because it's going to get pulled out of me.
Yeah. So what I found when this all hit is, I was pretty busy with tutoring when it started, and my clients, students, they just disappeared. At least half of them. And I reached out to them, emails. I should have called, I guess, looking back. But several emails said, "Hey, I'm still here. made accommodations for people with the fear. It let me know, and I thought I was a serious introvert. I was always very introverted, but it made me realize that I am much more extroverted than I thought, because I wasn't getting that in-person interaction. I wasn't, feeling that energy of others. And so, that was a big learning experience for me. And I've been struggling with this ever since, because there's no in-person. I mean, I have a few students I meet with in person, but the rest are online or they're gone. They're not around.
And just because we're introverts doesn't mean that we don't still get energy from people. That's just human nature. We need, as humans, we need connection,
right,
with others. It's just naturally inside of us. If you don't have any level of need for connection, there's probably something else wrong,
right,
or something more you need to work on. I don't want to use the word wrong, but it's the truth. We need connection. It's just a human need. So that being said, that doesn't mean that, and there's also another word, which Susan Cain, I believe, created it, called ambivert, which is a combination of being an extrovert and an introvert. And I would say as I've gotten older, I'm more of an ambivert, but my energy, I give too much energy. So I do get sucked, tired, and I need that time to recharge.
Well, we appreciate your energy. It's, I mean, just today has helped me with
Wonderful.
my mindset.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And we could always have a chat offline too.
I appreciate that.
So what about you, Michelle? Because I know, you're very active on social media, and that's great. Do you do much in networking, in-person networking, or online like this beyond our event today?
Well, yeah, I'm part of several groups. I'm part of Kevin Snyder's Wind Down Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
I drink my water, but
I thought you were going to say that was filled with wine. I was like, oh my Lord.
Oh my God, I would
be
in
a different group
serious
altogether.
trouble. So I'm part of that. I'm part of his Toastmasters group. So I get a lot of Zoom time, but I agree with you that, I gain my energy from being alone, but I have been alone way more, like so much, like beyond my comfort zone. And that's that, the human touch of just shaking somebody's hand, like you were saying, yeah, comfort zone. I'm just, I'm gonna, that church side hug, the shaking hand that just touched my skin, I'm really missing that element. But as far as staying in touch, yeah, I mean, I'm still on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm doing my Winning Proof Unscripteds, which I was so averse to the camera, like, oh my gosh, no. But I have gotten, now I somebody said, oh, you're a camera diva, like only because I spray stuff in my hair to cover the gray. But I've learned to be comfortable in that space because I can interview people, I can have a one-on-one interaction. So it hasn't really affected my business whatsoever.
Good.
But my shift is that I honestly am tired of ghostwriting, especially for the athletes. Drew knows some of the things that I have gone through with these guys who feel so incredibly entitled. Like I should be paying them to write their book because,
wow.
They've been on the conveyor belt since 3 years old. They've been given everything because they have a talent and they just want everything for nothing. So I'm kind of burned out on that, honestly. And I want to move more toward book coaching and just really do in-depth coaching where I can choose, this is how many people I want to work with. I won't have to work every single Saturday forever because I feel like that now. I feel like I'm chained to my desk, and that's not why I'm self-employed. is to be chained to my desk, you know? So I'm in the process of shifting things, and I'm reading the book by Adam Marco, Pivot, which is excellent. And he talks about, pardon me?
What is the name of the book called?
Pivot.
Oh, Pivot. Okay,
Pivot.
yes.
Yeah,
I've
and
been
the
hearing a lot
author,
about
Adam,
that book.
yeah, it's really, really good. His style of writing is so conversational, but he says you don't pivot overnight.
Right.
You know, he was an attorney and he's now a coach for millions of people, but you know, you do steps at a time. So that's what I would like to do. Maybe take on pet projects for ghostwriting, work on some of my own stuff, but you know, I want to make that shift for, as I'm getting older, I just want it to work more for me and not feel like I'm a slave to my desk. I've created another job for me that I'm working 6 days a week.
Right.
And I don't like that. I don't like that feeling, and I'm not getting joy out of it like I used to.
So are you developing a plan, Michelle? Are you creating the plan?
Absolutely, yes. I announced that what I think is important for us to do is when you have a plan or when you want to shift, put yourself out there. Like I announced on LinkedIn yesterday, I've gotten so many requests for coaching, and I am doing it informally, that I put myself out there. Like by the end of the week, I will have some coaching programs.
Wow,
you know,
good for
I don't
you.
have any coaching programs. I know what I'm going to do. I know how I'm going to separate them. So I just have to do it, make it pretty on Canva and all that. But put yourself out there, make yourself uncomfortable by announcing it to the world, then you're on the hook.
Yep.
So I've got to somehow this week by Friday, just, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just create a coaching, maybe 3 tiers of a coaching program, you know, this many times a month, this or this. So that's my plan, is to that's how I'm going to transition, is to just ease out of one, ease into the other, you know.
That's the way.
Yeah.
Although Tony Robbins, one thing I love about Tony Robbins is he likes to say, burn your boats. So his thing is, you know, like if you're going to do something, just jump in completely and like burn your boats. So this way you have no choice but to survive. I don't think I could live like that, but I do appreciate when he says that.
Well, Adam Marco actually just talked about that when I was reading his book on Sunday afternoon. Is just he says, no, don't burn your boats. Do it. That's what he was talking about, doing it
So that,
eventually.
and even though I study his coaching style, and I take his, I've been doing one of his programs called Strategic Intervention to add that into my coaching. That the burn your boats part, though, I can't do.
Yeah, he debunked that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to, honestly, I used to charge, and I don't so much anymore, but sometimes I charge according to my self-confidence level. So you know where that's gotten me.
Well, where are you right now? Because maybe I want to write another book.
Well, I can coach you through that. You know that.
Just kidding. My
I can
goal,
publish you.
My goal for the next 2 years is to not write another book. Okay.
It's not for the faint-hearted, is it?
No, it takes too much time. But and you know, and I want to eventually. I have 2 fiction novels that I'd like to blow off the dust, and they're both finished. They just need to be completely rewritten about 30 times.
Yeah.
But they are both finished. All right, guys. I'll see you over on the other side. This was wonderful.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Michelle.
I still owe 2. I got so much going on here. When it happens, I don't nail it down like I should, and that's my fault.
All right.
Hey, look, everybody, Joe's back.
I'm back. So
We're
stop.
still waiting for some folks, Joe.
Huh?
We're still waiting for some folks.
Okay. Great. And then I know that we're at the 11 o'clock hour. I know Susan Watson said she was going to have to jump off at 11. But if everybody could just stay for a few more minutes, Joe Heather has to jump off. Okay. But so listen, before we, one of the things that I want to let you all know is that I'm going in about an hour. Within the hour, you're all going to receive an email from me that will be inviting you to do a 30-minute complimentary discovery session with me. And it could be anybody here. It'll give you a link where you can go and schedule that time, and that'll be our time. And during that time, what we're going to work on is what are you having some issues around the networking? Are you having issues around mindset, especially mindset? Are there roadblocks that are preventing you from moving to the next level in your business? Are you afraid of moving out of COVID into, back into, I don't want to say normal, but whatever the future looks like? Okay, what does that look like? Are you trying to develop a referrals team, a referral partner team? Whatever it is, we can work on that. Anything around sales, networking, and mindset, I'm your guy. Okay, so that's what we can work on. I will send that email out in about within an hour to you all. Okay, and just click on the link and it'll take you right to my calendar. So Ed, question, you have the wheel of torture ready to go?
Yep, and a bunch of you folks are having to leave. Remember, you can save the chat down in the bottom right-hand corner, right next to the word file. You'll see a box with 3 dots. Click on that, save the chat. You will find that in your My Documents folder. There will be a Zoom folder. If you click on that Zoom folder, you will find a folder with today's date on it, and that's where the transcript for the chat will be.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
So why don't we, who of our sponsors, well, first of all, let me thank all our sponsors. Thank you to Robin. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Gary Zeller. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, David Riddell. And thank you, Melinda, all of you. Thank you so much for being here today and being a part of this. So, Ed, do you have something that you want to give away to anybody?
Yep, we're going to be doing, and I don't know if Renee's here. I've been a little behind. I apologize. I still have to finish up Renee's cards. But we're going to offer 1,000 business cards on your choice of stock, basic stocks only, please, and up to 1 hour of graphic design time if you need to have your card revamped or touched up or your address or contact info changed or anything like that. So we're going to be giving away 1,000 business cards.
Wow.
All right, cool. So go ahead, Ed. Take it away.
You're working on it, my friend.
Oh, okay. So who wants to dance while we're waiting for Ed?
Go for it, Joe.
Nope. You don't want to see me dancing. All right, so spin it away, Ed. All right.
Do hers have to be double-sided, animals on one and travel on the other?
No, but she, there we go. She'll get a choice of which she would prefer.
Okay.
Is she here? Christy, you still here?
Yeah, she's here.
Is she? Okay.
I'm here.
Cool. Okay, hello. So you know how to get me. Let me know what you want.
I do, thanks.
You're welcome. Who's next?
All right, let's go to Mr. David Riddell.
So, having your logo displayed everywhere you go as we go back in public matters. To have a logo digitized for embroidery, it's normally 40 to 80 bucks. And then you have the polo and the stitch. So, free digitized logo plus a polo with your logo stitched on it is over a $75 value. So that is what you will get. So you will at least be here, and then the logo will be ready for you when you need more stuff. But you will have a nice polo ready to roll out into the world. Brand new.
Yeah, I wish sponsors could be on this one. All right, we ready?
Now you have to be here to win it. Is Josh here?
I don't think Josh.
I don't think so.
You got to be in it to win it.
That's
That's
right.
right. Ready?
All right, let's do it again. Listen, because it was.
I don't think Aaron's here either. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Here we go.
All right. Next one I picked. All right, Donna's here. Yay.
There you go. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right, cool. All right, Charles, anything?
You know, I put a lot of thought in this. I meditated. What, David? What?
That's awesome.
Okay, a $25 gift card, Amazon gift card, but you have to buy a book because
Ooh.
leaders are readers, right?
All right,
All right.
I like that.
I like it.
All right. Hey, Grace. Where's Grace?
Still here?
Yeah, Grace is here. I just saw her.
What book are you going to buy, Grace? All right.
Congratulations.
Thank
Grace.
you. Thank you. Thank
Good for you.
So
And Grace,
somebody will contact me.
yeah, Charles will contact you. I want to say, Grace, that I'm so happy that for this event, you weren't upside down the entire event.
I'm so technology challenged. I'm working with like 4 devices, you know.
But it's so good to see you. All right, Robin.
Yes, I don't want to overwhelm you. So a balanced life starts with balanced living. I'm getting a free coaching session with me where we go through a balanced evaluation, and then according to that need, a free product from USANA.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cynthia here?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Oh.
How'd you know I got a physical coming up in a couple of weeks?
Wow.
Very cool. Well, congratulations, Philip. Who's next? Oh, Gary, you have anything? And it's okay if you don't.
No, I do. And I, like Charles, I've really put a lot of thought into this. And so I'm going to do what I've done the 2 previous times I've hosted this. And it's a Starbucks gift card.
Great.
Still
When are you going to
great.
give away a house?
Yeah, I know. That'll impress me.
I got a small dollhouse.
Is Durwood still here?
Uh-oh.
Did Durwood leave?
I don't think he's here. I think he flew the coop.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Hey, Darwood, email your address and I'll mail it to you.
Sure thing, man.
Good. You can buy the coffee on Friday when we bring the pizza.
There you go. We can do it.
All right. And Melinda.
Okay, I love winners, and I know you do, and you've made of us all winners today, and I'm going to make us all winners today because if you will email me, I'm getting ready to drop my link right here. The first 10 people are going to win $150 gift certificates to Action Travel or Professional Development Journeys, but everybody who sends me your email will win a $100 future travel certificate. You have to book something within 1 year of today.
Going to
And it's
Disney
good for travel
World.
all the way through 23. Reach out to us at Action Travel.
Okay.
Melinda,
So I guess we don't need to do the wheel of torture for that.
I'm very upset, Melinda.
Oh, I like
I don't get to spin the wheel.
Okay,
So
spin
next
the wheel
year's-
and I'll do a $20 Starbucks card as well.
Can we just do the wheel anyway? Because I want to dance again.
Okay.
There you go. Play
I'll,
music, Ed.
I'll send you the MP3 for that music there, buddy.
Okay. I want to wake up in the morning.
Nice.
Nice. That is, congratulations, Kristen. Well, everybody, this has just been so much fun. I have enjoyed this being with you all so much.
Can you go find it for me?
And, you know, everybody, you're just so wonderful. And, you know, this is the end, but it's not the end. Please stay in touch with me. Stay in touch with each other. Be sure to download the chat and engage with each other, network with each other. You know, it's the relationships is what keeps our businesses moving forward. Okay, that's why, you know, they always talk about the good old boys clubs back in the old day. But there was a reason why they had those clubs, because they got to know each other and engage with each other. And what they were doing is they were developing long-term relationships that kept their businesses going. And that's what I want to encourage all of us to continue doing during COVID, after COVID, and everything in between, if there is an in between. So, and congratulations to my friend Lori Hill, who just recently got her real estate license. So congratulations on
Joe?
that. Way to go. So congratulations, that's great. So listen, I'm gonna keep the room open. I'll even be here for a few minutes networking with you all. And you know, but again, go forth and prosper. And as Nick said, I believe earlier, don't go forth and multiply. We're all too old for that, okay?
Thank you, Joe, so much. This was fabulous.
It was fun.
Great. Thank you, Joe.
It was awesome. Thanks, Joe.
It went by so fast.
Hi, Gay.
Hey, how's it going?
Lunchtime.
It is
Nice to see you, Lon.
right.
All that dancing made Charles and I hungry. Awesome.
Hey, Dick O'Donnell, thank you so much for being here. I know that you have your Rotary coming up.
I do. I have a lot of preparation in the next half hour, so thank you. Hey, everybody, join your local Rotary Club. It's a great service organization and well worth it.
And Dick's going to pay all of the tuition for it.
The dues.
If anybody wants to pay my dues to a BNI, please just speak up.
Hey, Janet, thank you so much for helping today. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely. No problem. Glad to be here.
And look,
You guys did great today.
Victor Banks is so awesome. There's got to be two of them.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hey, Gary, how you doing? Hey, Charlie, nice to see you, buddy.
Hey, Joe. Hey, earlier you mentioned that there was somebody in the meeting that did email campaigns. Who was that?
So the what I was talking about was Michelle Doffinger, but I don't think she does email campaigns. That would be, why am I forgetting his name?
Doffinger or?
No, well, Michelle does social media.
Social media.
Dick,
you mentioned it in the meeting, and I didn't hear it. I didn't catch it fast enough.
Dick, who's the guy that does the email marketing?
Someone together that just won the prize.
Greg Wright? Rivial? No.
No.
Anything about Hank?
Hank, oh my Lord.
There we go.
Hank.
Yes.
Yeah. What's Hank's
That's
last
always
name?
come through. Yeah.
Hank Hoffmeyer does email marketing.
Yes.
But Michelle Doffinger from Triangle Social Media, she can help you with all of your social media posting and stuff like that, or it's anything you need around social media. That's her specialty.
Yeah, I've been looking for somebody to help me write emails to keep them, coming back.
Now, if you need somebody to help you write the emails, my wife can do that.
Right.
I reached out to her already. She said that wasn't her forte.
It was what?
She said it's not her forte.
Oh, okay. All right.
No worries.
Charlie, I'll send you an introductory email to Hank.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hank's a nice guy.
Yeah.
We actually, that's why I felt so guilty that I forgot his name, because we did a workshop together about 4 or 5 years ago.
Is it that long ago? Wow.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I remember people from 5 years ago.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot his name.
Yeah, I do too. Long time. I've been here 4 years, so it's been a long time since I've seen a lot of y'all.
And you're only 32. That's great.
Exactly. No, actually, actually 27. Just turn the numbers around.
Oh, okay.
Renee, how close are you to Navarre?
About 30 minutes.
My sister moved there a couple of years ago.
Oh, she must like it there. It's really nice.
She loves it. She moved there from
Yeah.
Cambridge. Yep, yep.
Yeah,
My
it's
parents
really,
were
really.
my parents were in Lake Wales. You know where that is?
No, not a clue.
I think it's like 45 minutes from Orlando, I think, but I don't even know.
Oh
what
no,
direction.
I'm 8 to 10 hours from Orlando.
Yeah, they were on the peninsula, around all the orange groves.
Oh, okay.
They
Barbara
loved it.
Russell, check your chat log. Check the chat.
Barbara Russell, I don't know you. Introduce yourself to me.
Let me make this louder.
Do your 30 second, Barbara.
Oh! I met Joe at Laurie Hills Farm. I'm a realtor with Carolina Charm Real Estate. Been a realtor for for a year and a half since I retired as a school counselor for over 20 years.
Nice.
In what area?
Wake Forest, Franklin County, Granville County, Wake County.
How you doing,
Since she was in
Joanne?
2 of my
Good to
groups,
see
I'll
you.
tell you she's an awesome lady.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
Hey, Melinda.
I said, and since she was in 2 of my breakout groups, I'll tell you she is an awesome lady.
Oh, yeah. She is very nice.
Hey, Melinda, your email is MCF for action?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I
At
just didn't know
Gmail.
if the email was included in the email. Okay, yeah, I sent you an email. I definitely want to talk to you about Hawaii.
Great.
Yep.
I would love to talk to you.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun and a good goal to have for this year. Being cooped up for 2 years.
We all have better mental health if we can put ourselves months ahead.
Or 2,000 miles away from the lane.
Yes, that too. That
Even
too.
more.
I know.
I gotta run. Thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
David,
Thanks,
thank you.
Joe.
Hey, David, I'll be in touch.
Hey, Ed.
Call me
Ed,
when you're in town. 'Cause
Renee, I will have an email going out to you.
don't worry, Ed, don't worry. I'm in no hurry
Okay.
to get it. I mean, come on, it's free. You know,
No, I want
whenever
it
I
out.
get it. Yeah, whenever I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. Don't rush.
Thanks,
Don't rush. And I apologize for that last correction.
I'm gonna head,
No, don't be silly.
head out. Have a good day,
Yeah.
everyone.
Joe, I'm
I
looking
forgot.
forward to disc golf.
Yes.
Gary, thanks for the referrals. I appreciate that.
With this weather outside, we should be on a real golf course today.
Yes, absolutely.
I have never played golf outside of mini golf.
If you saw me play, you'd think I never played.
Hey, Joe, thanks for inviting me. This is really, really awesome.
I hope it was worth getting up a little early, Renee.
Yeah, but I'm going to take a nap right now, so.
Well, thanks for being here. I'll see you Thursday.
Yes, sir. Have a good
Melinda.
one. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
Renee.
Hey,
Melinda,
Gary,
you guys
how was
going to
your
Waikiki?
concert?
Yes,
When?
Uh,
What day?
It went well.
September 24th,
Very well.
Okay, no, what day of the week is it that you'll be in Waikiki?
Friday.
Uh,
We'll be there for the fireworks.
yeah, but if you went to the Outrigger on Sunday, you could do Dukes on Sunday with my buddy Henry Capono.
Oh.
The Wild Hawaiian, he plays the whole day at Dukes.
Oh.
He's awesome.
Well, I'm going to turn it over to Ed, and I'm going to jump off and grab lunch, everybody. Have
Great
a
to see
wonderful,
you.
blessed
Thank you,
day.
Joe.
I appreciate
Take care,
it
Thanks,
Joe.
Joe.
so much.
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed it.
Awesome.